Acorn TV, proud sponsor of Just Seen It, offers hundreds of hours of British mysteries, dramas, and comedies streaming commercial-free on demand. Learn about our 30-day trial at acorn.tv/PTV. On this episode of Just Seen It, we review the romantic comedy about time travel, About Time.
Rachel McAdams is dangerously close to becoming the love child of Meg Ryan and Julia Roberts.
The action thriller starring Arnold and Sylvester, Escape Plan.
Let's not pretend that Stallone and Schwarzenegger together is anything other than a gimmick.
The buddies comedy, Las Vegas.
It's The Hangover with senior citizens.
And the remake of the horror classic, Carrie.
When you're remaking a classic, you need to actively try to make it different.
All right here on Just Seen It. On his 21st birthday, Tim's father reveals that they can travel back in time.
You go into a dark place, clench your fists, think of the moment you're going to, and you'll find yourself there.
The talent comes in handy whenever Tim wants a redo.
Obviously, I should have thought this through more.
Could you give me 1 second?
But when he falls in love with Mary, he finds this gift could be a curse in About Time.
Hi, I'm Brenna.
I'm Anna Maria.
And I'm Kevin, and we are here today to talk about the new film About Time. We've all just seen it. We'd like to first welcome Anna Maria Baiana.
Hi.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm originally from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. I've been in Los Angeles for a long, long time. And I review for UOL.com and for the magazines Época and Piauí.
So tell us what you thought about Time.
Well, I really wanted to like it. I like Richard Curtis. I like the fact that he's such a romantic, such a positive attitude. But I had a big problem with the whole time travel thing.
I agree. I had a lot of problems with the time travel. Their rules were arbitrary. They bent them or broke them as they needed to. But beyond that, my real problem with this film is that there are no stakes.
Exactly.
There's no conflict. You go into it thinking, oh, it's a romantic film, so he's going to cheat on the girl and get caught, or she's going to find out about the time travel and dump him, or something's going to happen to hurt their relationship.
Right.
Nothing happens. It's just this happens, and then it ends.
The problem that I had with the time travel device is he keeps on going back and changing things without other people knowing it, which to me is a little bit creepy, and it just made me a little uncomfortable.
He does this. He uses his time travel to learn about her, to get her to want to be with him. But, they're so happy together that you forgive it. But
Right.
They really don't touch on how creepy it really is.
I thought this phone was old, but suddenly it's my most valuable possession.
You really like me? Even my frock?
I love your frock.
And, my hair? It's not too brown.
I love brown.
My fringe is new.
The fringe is perfect.
Okay, so Tim and the time travel. I was timing this. The 5th time, he goes into a closet, closes his eyes, closes his fists, and time travels. I was looking at my watch. I was going, there's going to be another hour of this?
I do feel like there was a chunk, though, where they stopped doing the time travel. And I kept on going, well, what is...
Well, he didn't need to, because everything was so perfect.
Well, I know. And then I was like, well, I don't know where this movie is going.
Yeah, see, the thing is, this movie doesn't know what kind of movie it wants to be.
Yeah.
It wants to be a romance, but it ends up telling 2 love stories. The one between him and his wife, and the one between father and son.
And in the end, I had the feeling that the film was actually supposed to be about enjoy life is later than you think. But why didn't it get to that point sooner?
And the characters aren't very well developed either. Even the love interest, Mary, is underdeveloped. His mother is more well-developed than she is, and we hardly ever see her.
What do we think about the people that played them? Rachel
I love
McAdams.
Domhnall Gleeson. He's charming, and he's sweet, and he's
was.
funny, and he's unconventionally attractive.
Exactly.
And then-
And it got more attractive as the movie went along.
And the family is like a whole series of stereotypes. So it's the sturdy but sweet mother, the quirky but sweet father, the spaced out but sweet uncle. And then the quirky but sweet sister. But he's adorable. He's a lovely actor. I would love to see more of him.
Rachel McAdams keeps on playing the same character in every movie that she's in lately. I really like her. I find her charming, but it's just repetitive. She finally broke out in Passion this year, where she got to play kind of the mean girl grown up, which was I appreciated, and I want to see her do more of that. She's cute in this, but it's just more of the same.
My parents are in town. They're visiting, and they're coming around.
Oh, God. Parents? American parents?
Mm-hmm.
When?
Now. Yeah, they told me, and I didn't tell you, and I thought they'd cancel because they normally do, and they didn't.
Now?
Now. So you should probably put on some pants.
Oh, God. Okay.
But let's talk about Richard Curtis, our director as well as writer.
I love Richard Curtis films, and every time I see one of his films, I know I'm going to get something very special. And the acting is going to be above par, the writing's going to be above par. So this, for me, was a disappointment because it just felt a little stale.
It was almost too sweet at times. His stories are idyllic, but usually there's more to it.
Right.
This one is just sweet all the way through.
And I like sweetness, and I like idyllic, and I would totally agree with you. And what I love about Richard Curtis is that he has a huge heart, and he's sincere. My problem with this one is that this is one moment when you wished you had a really nasty, aggressive development process. Somebody just, wrapped his arm around his shoulders and said, Richard, we know you're the writer and the director, but this is not working.
This movie is saccharine and almost too idyllic. It's devoid of any real conflict. However, its sweetness would make for a good couch date, so I say stream it.
About Time is lovely and sweet with a big heart, but unfortunately it's too long for a very thinly disguised plot device. So stream it.
There's a better story in here somewhere, but despite that, I was still charmed by it, so I say stream it.
Our votes add up to 1.5 tickets, which is a stream it for About Time. Cheers.
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 If you want time travel, watch Doctor Who.
Nerd.
Ray is an expert on designing escape-proof prisons.
We're testing a prototype facility to deal with people no government wants on their books. The people financing this need to know these facilities are escape-proof.
When do we start?
We just did.
But he is framed and jailed in one of his own. So he teams up with a fellow inmate to find a way out in Escape Plan.
Hi, I'm Sean.
I'm Leah.
And I'm Aaron, and today we're here to talk about the new film starring Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone, Escape Plan. Woo! We've all just seen it. Ah, yes! It was Escape Plan.
You know what?
Let's talk about
Can
it.
we just say up front?
The script should have never been made.
We can't. Let's not pretend that this movie is anything other than it is than a gimmick to have these aging stars stay box office relevant, right? So we put the two of them together on the screen. Have these guys ever appeared together on screen before?
Expendables 2.
In the Expendables, but this is like the first major pairing where they both have, they don't have equal screen time, but they both have, they're the two main
And they have lots of interactions with each other.
They do.
My main problem with this movie, not only is the second act just boring and stupid, but I just don't.
Oh my God, is that a technical, critical term?
It's stupid.
Boring and
okay,
stupid.
nothing happens. They're in prison, and we know they're going to try and escape, and they just kind of waste 40 minutes just getting to the escape. But
how do you know they're going to escape? I'm confused.
I don't know. I think the title of the movie is called
I don't know.
Escape
Well,
Plan.
I completely agree. There's not a lot that's going on. It's not like the writers Miles Chapman and Jason Keller give us a whole lot that makes sense in the plot that's going on
Yeah,
here.
but here's the thing. The best part of this movie is the one-liners and the funny moments and the star persona of these two men. And the writers and the directors understand that, and they do inject that into the film at times, but the rest of it is just schlock. I don't understand how you can know that a certain thing works really well and utilize it and then screw up everything else.
They pull their punches on that. I mean, for me, that was the best part of the film, was watching Stallone and Schwarzenegger be these kinds of reference to themselves in their 80s and 90s films. The problem, and those moments were gold. The problem is that I'll just go watch Predator, or I'll just go watch First Blood.
Right, it was
instead
the
of
same
this.
problem with The Last Stand and with Bullet to the Head. The stories are not very good, but you'll watch the movie because of the star power of these actors and the funny things that they say.
It should have had more. I think Expendables 2 is a movie that towed the line there. You can go too far that way. I think you can just go so much into parody that it just gets boring and you're like, I get the point after 20 minutes. Shoot 'em Up to me was a movie that was like that.
Yeah.
But yes, it needed more of that.
One of the things that may have been going on here is that when you put Stallone and Schwarzenegger in a film, how much control does the screenwriter have over the movie at that point, right?
Sure. Or the director.
Or the director.
But their performance or what they brought to it isn't what makes it a bad movie. In fact, that's the only reason I would recommend it at all, is it's fun to see these two lead actors on the screen together making these funny one-liners. And I mean, honestly, all the performances are entertaining. Jim Caviezel as the warden is
great.
I have
really
to say,
good.
That was the standout performance for me, was Jim Caviezel. It's probably my favorite performance of his.
Evacuation code. Yes, evacuation code. Meaning you give me a number and you walk out of here free as a bird? I don't think so. You're here now, and you belong to me.
I do think, though, that it's kind of the tale of two actors here. A lot of people were rooting for this Stallone-Schwarzenegger team-up, and after seeing this movie, maybe they could make a better movie, but I don't know that their sensibilities are as toned to each other as people think.
I agree.
I looked at Stallone in this movie and I felt like, here's a guy who feels like he should be making better movies. He's pretty stoic in here. I'm not really sure that he's having a good time. And the other side of the aisle is Schwarzenegger, which he said he'll be back, and he's back, and he seems to be having
a great time.
A riot the
It was
entire
so
movie.
clear. Either the acting styles or their attitudes were so different. I agree with you. I don't know that they're compatible, if they're simpatico when it comes to the kinds of films that they feel like they should be doing. Schwarzenegger looks like he was just having a ball.
I need to get into the isolation area. Okay. Good.
That's a favor. Well, sometimes favors hurt.
So what do we think about the director, Mikhail Hofstrom? He did 1408. He did Shanghai.
Derailed, which was so great.
He did Derailed.
Honestly, there's just too many visual references to other films. You've got the prison guards who kind of look like people from the army in 300.
Why can't we see these guards' faces? I guess they just think it looks cool.
The only reason I would ever go to a movie like this is to be entertained by Stallone and Schwarzenegger, and this movie delivers mildly in that regard.
Escape Plan doesn't quite know how dumb it is, but if you have the right expectations, you'll get all you want from this Stallone-Schwarzenegger team-up. So I say stream it.
Escape Plan is not a good film. However, Arnold and Stallone do make it worth watching at home with a beer or two. Stream it.
The only thing audiences are going to be doing is looking for an escape plan of their own on this one. I say skip it.
Our votes add up to one full ticket, which is a stream it for Escape Plan. Cheers.
Cheers.
Escape plan! Got to escape!
This week's DVD pick is the 2012 release, My Brother the Devil.
Need help. Running around thinking I'm untouchable. I want to do something different. Wish you was never my brother. I can't do this no more. Dedication's what I'm demonstrating. I will never give up. I will never give up.
The film tells the story of two teen brothers who, as British Arabs, must confront their own growing pains while navigating the London street gang lifestyle. Written and directed by Sally El-Hosseini, My Brother the Devil is taut and engaging, complex yet sensitive. We enter into a world where Muslim Arabs are engaged in hip-hop culture, drug dealing, finding and discovering new loves, all while trying to make ends meet. Actors James Floyd and Fadi Al-Said play our brothers convincingly, particularly when older brother Rashid tries to keep younger brother Mo from entering into the drug-dealing world. By film's end, the movie's title compels us to wonder if there isn't a little bit of devil inside of all of us. My Brother the Devil is available now, so check it out.
Billy, Patty, Archie, and Sam have been best friends since childhood. When Billy announces he's getting married...
What? To that young lady who's half your age?
The four plan a bachelor party in Vegas.
I want all of you to get in trouble.
But the trip both challenges and reaffirms their friendship.
You guys, the best thing ever happened to me.
Tonight, we're gonna party like it's 1959.
In Las Vegas.
Hi, I'm Salim.
I'm Scott.
And I'm Zoriana. Today we're going to review the comedy Las Vegas. We've all just seen it. Salim, what'd you think?
I actually was surprised by this movie. It's written by Dan Fogelman, who we know from Tangled and Cars, and albeit those are animated movies, I think he has a good handle on character, and it's very prevalent in this picture. We have four old guys who are going to Vegas for the last hurrah, and it's funny and it's heartfelt. I was shocked by this movie.
What did you think, Zoriana?
You know, I was really surprised. I don't know what I was expecting. I don't think I was expecting much. From the trailers, I was sort of thinking like a hangover for senior citizens, which it was. But I was surprised at the amount of heart. And even though there were like one too many old guy jokes, I thought some of them were really funny.
Yeah. I can't believe who I was supposed to be hosting this weekend. Who? 50.
50? P50?
50. 50 people in there? No, 50 Cent. Curtis Jackson.
Oh, from the Jackson 5, sure.
Okay.
Tell us what you think, Scott.
What's that saying? What happens in Vegas should stay in Vegas. What happens in Las Vegas shouldn't have happened at all.
Why?
It is very contrived, it is formulaic, it is manipulative, it is predictable, and I didn't laugh once.
What?
This is an embarrassment. They call it the hangover for old people, if only.
You know, I think you're spewing a lot of venom on a film that's not meant to be life-changing at all.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be light, it's supposed to be fun. It's a bunch of old guys who between them have like 6 Oscars who are having the time of their lives. You could tell in real life as well, and that is just infectious. It shows on screen.
Oh, Jesus.
It is the hangover with old people, but it's not as cheap and it's not as gratuitous in terms of trying to gross you out. And yes, there is a little bit of suspension of disbelief, but that's necessary for Vegas types of movies.
I love the fact that they made fun of their ages without going completely overboard. Like the part about Kevin Kline going through a medicine cabinet and stealing pills at someone's house.
If I want to watch a movie about aging, I'll watch Amour, okay? Second of all, you talk about the fun of the movie. Well, it looks like it was a lot of fun to make, but unfortunately, it's not a lot of fun to watch.
But it is a lot of fun to watch.
The jokes were all there.
I didn't laugh at all. You've got, what, just say 6 Oscars between these guys? Well, would it kill them to, like, up their game a little bit?
Well,
up the screenplay, the director.
I feel like you and I have not watched the same movie. Like, I think you like took a detour and saw something else.
I didn't think any of the Kevin Kline scenes were funny. I thought he stole the show in every single scene that he was in. He was hilarious.
And by the way,
he's a comedic actor.
And he's the one who had the most sentimental scenes too, when he's with his wife or he's with this younger woman that he really wants to be with, but then realizes he wants to be with his wife. It was very sweet.
The movie had a lot of honest reflection, which I thought was great. I wasn't expecting to have as much reflection that it did, especially considering that we have Michael Douglas, who we know is this Lothario guy, who actually is almost putting himself into the movie a little bit, which I thought was great.
And by the way, he looked like his father so much. I was like, am I looking at Kirk Douglas?
I was not expecting much either, okay? I wasn't expecting Prisoners or Dallas Buyers Club or 12 Years a Slave or Gravity. I went in thinking, okay, this is just going to be a fun romp. But where was the fun? From the moment everything is set up, you know how everything is going to play out. It's so predictable.
Yes,
the conflict
it is,
between Michael Douglas's character and Robert De Niro's character, they had a falling out.
I'm getting married, okay? This is a bachelor party. I needed you there.
I'm going home.
Oh, for Christ's sakes, how many times I gotta tell you I'm sorry?
You can't say it enough, my friend. You can't say it enough.
Every time I see you, we go through the same old...
One more word, I'm gonna knock your block off like I did when we were in the 5th grade.
Oh, yeah, that's the way you
all right. Hey, knock it off. Now, we're here together, the 4 of us. We're here to celebrate Billy marrying an infant.
She's not an infant.
Shut up, Billy.
This is now a particular genre where you take a fresh, youth-oriented genre and insert a bunch of senior citizens, and you just watch the fireworks go. And this was exactly the case.
I wish there were fireworks.
You know what? We're not going to change his mind. He's sticking to his guns.
That's okay.
So let's move on to the director, John Turteltaub. He's directed a bunch of light fare, the National Treasure. You know, he's a good, solid, plug-and-play director. This was kind of up his alley.
He's a broad director. He's a broad director. But this movie, he tries to appeal to the lowest common denominator, tries to appeal to everyone, and there was no conflict, at least no realistic conflict whatsoever.
As the movie progresses, we learn some information about them, so by the time we get to the end of the film, it all makes sense, their relationship, everything that they've gone through, it's just perfect. It's all there on screen. This is not a Hangover ripoff in the slightest. It's heartfelt, it's funny, and honestly, a complete surprise. See it.
Las Vegas was a lot more fun to make than it was to watch. If you're looking for laughs, place your bets elsewhere. Skip it.
Las Vegas won't change your life, but it's really fun watching a bunch of serious, respected Oscar winners behave like teenagers. I say, see it.
All right, well, our votes add up to 2 tickets, which is a stream it for Las Vegas.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. Let's go to Vegas.
Carrie White is a bullied schoolgirl with a fanatically religious mother.
You pray, little girl. Pray for forgiveness.
To distract herself, she hones her newfound gift of telekinesis.
If I concentrate hard enough, I can make things move.
But when she is pushed too far, she unleashes her fury on her classmates in Carrie.
Hi, I'm Kevin.
I'm Lisa.
And I'm Brenna. And we're here to talk about the remake of the 70s classic, Carrie. We've all just seen it. How about you start us off, Lisa?
Well, in anticipation of the remake, I watched the original over again, and I was surprised at how much I liked it. You know, it's been 37 years since the thing came out in 1976. I was really impressed all over again with the original. Next night, saw the remake. Can't say I was half as impressed.
Yeah, I am. The original is one of my favorite horror movies of all time. I love that movie to death. There's a lot of problems that you're going to face when you try to remake a classic.
Right.
And this film, they justified it by saying it was going to be closer to the book. And it's not. It is almost scene for scene, and in some cases line for line, like the original. I've seen the original lots of times. I can recite that film. These lines that were delivered by these actors are pretty much exactly the same.
And they try to update it with doing like cyberbullying, but they don't even do it enough.
Yeah.
You know, they kind of throw something on the web, and then you don't really hear how it affects anything.
They text each other every once in a while.
Right, and it just seems like I was like, what year are we in? There was nothing
and
substantial.
It's anachronistic. The story, the original film that they are remaking, they're not retelling the story, they're remaking this film, is from the 70s. And it being from the 70s, that age gives it that charm. It definitely works. It's sort of a vintage thing now.
Well, and it was based on Stephen King's first novel. Mm-hmm. He doesn't even write the same way anymore. You compare Carrie to some of his, to Under the Dome or some of his more current things, and it's different. He's adapted to the times, but unfortunately this adaptation of his novel wasn't.
The problem is it wasn't adapted. Mm-hmm. It was just copied from a 30-year-old film.
Yeah.
Another thing that the first one had over this new version was the casting and the acting. Even the secondary roles. You find me in this new version, the John Travolta that's going to emerge, the Amy Irving that's going to emerge. Mm-hmm. They're just not in this one. They look like, the kids in this one look like, I don't know, central
CW.
Casting for ABC Family. Exactly, John.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And our lead here is Chloe Grace Moretz playing Carrie. And I think that she was miscast. I mean, she's just too pretty.
First scene, she's in a bathing suit, face looks perfect. She would be so popular in high school.
Yeah.
No high school boy could have resisted her.
Right. Yeah. And she didn't have, she was kind of wimpy with her mom a little bit, but even so, she still kind of would stand up to her, and even stands up to her halfway through the movie. And I'm thinking, well, the movie's over now.
Yeah, she's not as browbeaten.
No.
I'm warning you, Mama. The devil's hand. Please don't do this. There will be a judgment. Carrie, Miss Jezebel fell from the tower.
I understand that this film is its own film, but I can't not compare it to the original. Nothing exists in a vacuum. The original exists along with this one. And when you have Sissy Spacek, who was nominated for an Oscar for her role in a horror film, and then you have Chloe Grace Moretz delivering the same exact lines, you can't not compare them and see how much better they were the first time around.
Sissy Spacek had that wonderful vacancy, and Chloe Grace Moretz has such presence. She really, at a very young age, but her young age is the one thing she has going for her over Sissy Spacek.
Right. Who was
She's
too old.
16 when she was filming it, and Sissy Spacek was 26.
Right.
10-year difference made a lot of difference.
I will say I liked Julianne Moore in this, but I felt like she was underwritten, so she was very one note. I kind of liked what she did, and she was creepy and unnerving. You know, every time she showed up, I'm like, oh, I don't like her. I just wanted more. It just seemed very surface.
You know, underwritten might be the perfect way to explain it. I thought initially that she played it too crazy, but I think that it's a mixture of the two, because she is playing crazy. There's no levels, there's no subtlety, there's no shifts. She's just always crazy. She's always here.
I thought she had a little bit too much gravitas as an actress, too. I've seen her in too many wonderful dramas, and I couldn't really buy her crazy. Exactly. Self-mutilation and treating her daughter and talking about those dirty pillows. Right. It just didn't feel right coming from her lips.
Any of the iconic lines from Carrie didn't feel right coming out of any of these characters'
laughable,
lips.
and I think audiences are going to laugh.
You go to your closet.
No, Mama. Go to your closet and pray.
My question was the additional screenwriter that they added in, Kimberly Peirce, the director. Were they in awe of the material? Were they intimidated by the original material? Or were they just lazy?
And this is my biggest problem with it. Kimberly Peirce is a fine director. You know, I liked Boys Don't Cry. My problem is that if you're going to remake Carrie, you need to do it with a visionary director. If you had said Tarantino's Carrie is coming out, the world will go see this movie and will be in awe of it. If you have David Fincher do it, he will bring something to it. She had nothing to bring because she's not that visionary a director. She's just very kind of, you know, likes to work with actors, likes to get into psychology. And here, I wanted something more.
While this version isn't awful in a vacuum, it is while the De Palma version exists. Save your money, watch the original, and skip it.
New blood can't revive the old magic. I say skip it.
Well, I'm really tempted to give this a skip it because there's really just no point to it. I do feel like if you're curious enough, you can stream it.
All right, our votes add up to half a ticket, which is a skip it for Carrie.
Cheers.
Cheers.
They're all gonna laugh at you.
They're all gonna laugh at you.
So long, so lanky, so red, nobody loves me, blah, blah, blah. I'm gonna back in time and they're gonna fix it.
Why didn't he tell us to get to the chopper?
He should have. There was a chopper in the movie.
There was.
I can see your dirty pillows.
You know, I'm done with this review.
Acorn TV, proud sponsor of Just Seen It, offers hundreds of hours of British mysteries, dramas, and comedies streaming commercial-free on demand. Learn about our 30-day trial at acorn.tv/PTV.